and were partway through the second before the effects crept up on us. I don't know if I'll ever stop being scared for him, Destiny said, with a little slur to her words. She didn't have to elaborate. I knew exactly what she meant. I know. It's the curse of being a mother. We'll probably never stop worrying about them, I said. That's true. But you know what I'm talking about. There was an edge to her tone. I glanced her way. Yeah, I do. Luther Vandross's soulful voice now filled the silence that our words left behind. Though I didn't have a son, I knew the concern and fear that she was referring to. Every time I turn around, one of our boys is being murdered. It's not enough that we have to worry about them being murdered by criminals. We have to worry just as much about them being murdered by those in law enforcement, she said, with much less of a slur. Apparently, getting angry is the quickest way to getting sober. I took in her expression. There was a hardened edge that wasn't present moments earlier. The relaxed mood that we had been enjoying from the music and alcohol was gone. It's a damn shame, was all I could say. Earlier, while I was getting dinner together for Dahlia, I had the news on. Playing in the background, she said, pausing to take a sip from her margarita. There was a whole segment on Jessie Ferris. She sighed and looked over at me. I think it's why I got so freaked out. Echoing her sigh, I leaned forward, picked up the pitcher of the now watery margarita, and filled my empty glass. That man is a living and breathing human stain. Hearing his name in this peaceful space was wrong on every level. I took a few sips of my drink, placed my glass on the coffee table, and leaned back into the cushiony seat. Destiny continued, they're making him out to be some kind of hero. And if that's not what they're going for, they're definitely trying to make it seem like someone make him seem like someone who's been misunderstood. I can't think of him without being scared for DJ. I shook my head and gulped the remainder of my drink. They included a little snippet of an interview with Mr. and Mrs. Willows. They're really good people. The whole thing is just sad, I said. Yeah, Destiny agreed, sipping her drink mindlessly. They're the epitome of Christian charity and forgiveness. The Willows family was working with a few members of Congress who had crafted legislation addressing the practice of concealed carry, where firearms cannot be seen by casual observers. But even as they worked with the legislature, they had publicly forgiven Ferris. I guess I mumbled around a piece of cheese. Christian charity was a topic I didn't feel like debating with her right now. But the thing is, she stopped for a moment. I can't stop seeing Mara Willow's eyes. Every time she's been interviewed, her eyes don't match her words. Her voice hitched. She lowered her head and hugged herself. I rose from the recliner and moved closer to her. Squeezing her hand, I asked, what's wrong? Her eyes, it's like there's no life left in them. She rubbed her face. I think the life that probably used to exist in her died with her son. And everyone uses her as a symbol for forgiveness. But that's what black folks are supposed to do, forgive and forget. I could feel my blood begin to boil. Yeah, she reached for one of the napkins on the coffee table. 3 years ago in Kentucky, a mall security officer followed a 12-year-old boy out of the mall, stating that there had been a report of shoplifting from one of the stores. The interaction ended with the boy, later identified as Jamar Willows, being shot. He died on the way to the hospital. An investigation found that Jamar had a bag from the Comic Voice with 2 comic books in it. The receipt listed only 1 book. That sparked debates over whether or not the clerk mistakenly didn't charge him for the book, or if Jamar had shoplifted it. After community unrest and ongoing marches, the district attorney charged Jessie Ferris with reckless homicide, a lesser charge than both manslaughter and murder. The 2-week trial ended with a hung jury. Following a deal with the DA's office, Ferris entered into a guilty plea and was given 2 years of supervised probation and 200 hours of community service. Both his probation and community service hours were concluded about a year ago. He had become the darling of conservative media and the NRA. We're coming up on the 3rd anniversary of Jamar. I mean, what if DJ? Destiny said, but I had to cut her off. Don't, Des. Don't go to that place again. She ignored me and mumbled. My eyes would be like hers, no light. I fought the urge to speak or comfort her as she released a quiet sob. Like earlier, she needed to work through this. It'll be okay. And words like that had no place in this space. Not right now, because yes, DJ was okay. He would be okay, but everything was not okay. I filled her glass as she blew her nose, and then, as clear as a shiny piece of crystal, she said, somebody needs to kill that motherfucker. I stared at her reddened face after those words left her lips. There was no slur, no confusion, and no humor, only determination. It was the same sentiment that had occasionally taken up residence in my head. Yeah, someone should, I agreed, not overthinking my response. Every time he gets in front of the camera, it's like a slap in the face to Jamar's family, whether they say it or not. And it pours salt in the wound of every parent who's gone through the same thing they had. My boiling blood has boiled over now. I have no idea how they handle it. How can they possibly heal having to see Ferris's shitty face all the time? He's out there acting as if their son deserved what happened to him, as if a comic book has more value than their son, Destiny said, draining her second glass. She then refilled mine. I don't know how they do it either, I said, shoving a handful of broken chips in my mouth. We should do it, she said with renewed enthusiasm. There was a light in her eyes. She's serious. With the exception of Destiny's tendency towards driving like a speed demon on surface streets, she had never committed a crime in her life. She once drove DJ and Michelle back to the movie theater after they mentioned sneaking into a different movie. She made them use their allowance to pay for the ticket. Yep, Miss Pollyanna Goody Two-Shoes talking about committing murder was something. Yep, we should. I was serious too. We both laughed, lightening the seriousness of our statements. Though I'm no Miss Goody Two-Shoes, I did believe in nonviolence and peaceful protest. But I wasn't joking either. We should, Destiny repeated my sentiment. After that, the remainder of the night was one big blur of gripes and planning. We moved from a murder plan to a comprehensive plan in the mind of two inebriated women of ways to ruin that asshole's life. But I wasn't taking murder off the table because, yeah, somebody needed to kill that motherfucker.
All right. All right. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Amazing. Yes.
Y'all too happy about the idea of murdering.
I have a question. That's chapter one.
That
was chapter one.
Chapter one and a half. You know?
Yeah, one is long.
Most of them are not that long.
But yeah, I wanted to, and so anyway,
Wow.
that's chapter one, but
That's
the
a damn
book,
good
but it goes, like, it starts.
So do they kill that motherfucker?
Don't say.
Are you taking questions? Yeah, I just want to say, it starts with this, but like I said, the story really wrote itself. It becomes a lot. It becomes a lot because it's 30 chapters, but it becomes a lot, and it's a good amount longer than Strangers When We Die. So yeah, it's a lot. Yes.
What is your
I'm just gonna ask, why did you choose Max instead of Eric Benet? That's a whole nother
Okay, and I'm just saying.
Why did you
I
choose
always
Max?
gotta throw a little piece of me. I like Maxwell more than Eric Benet. But again, it's not about me. But yeah, and so that's that. But yes, so it takes a lot of different turns, and when I put it up, it will fall under Black love because there are love stories in it, suspense, thriller. It will have.
reading it though.
She did, you did.
It will have all of that. So yes, son.
There's a lot of racial tension in this.
A little bit.
Yeah,
A little
yeah,
bit.
there's a little bit.
A little bit.
Was it a bad day?
Well, it was written around that whole, because it was during the pandemic and the George Floyd thing. They did that kind of
Well, it's kind of
influence
after that. I wrote this in April. So I wrote the whole book. I started it in April, right after Malcolm's birthday. And then I finished it. When did I finish it? In June.
I finished it in just under 2 months.
Yeah, 'cause what was that? That was, we were doing,
It was June.
we did the
yeah.
3 chapters, what, at the end of May? Right?
Yeah,
The last chapter
Yeah.
came real fast.
No, we had
It's
a,
I was reading it.
we had
we
a,
had a
we both
plan. I
had
was
the 3
supposed to write 3
chapters of our
chapters,
books
and I ended up
ready
writing.
at the end of May. We had
Yeah, I
1
finished the
month.
book.
So then you finished yours the next month, which was June.
Yep.
So at the end of June, you were done, right? So,
Yep.
Before she
yeah,
sent it to
okay.
And so, but it starts this way. It becomes, like I said, it becomes a lot more than just that. But that is the way it starts.
Mm-hmm.
This is a, what kind of book is it? It's
Like I
more of a
said,
romance.
Thriller.
it's thriller, but
Romantic
but
thriller?
but it's
Those are my
also,
favorite.
I told you, it's going to be because when you post things on Amazon, you have to put the categories, and the first category I'm putting is Black love. So it's a love story in there.
Okay.
I don't want to, because again, no hate on lesbians, but I feel like if it's called Robin and Destiny and I put it under
People
black
think
romance,
that
people will assume that, but
It's
it's
not.
not. And so, so I just sort of put that out there that it's
Yeah,
not.
I think the main genre is thriller.
Hmm?
I think the main genre is thriller.
I think it's the genre thriller, but I've written a lot more since you read Uncle Ricky. So.
True, yeah, because I've only got that first.
Yeah, and it will be out in October. Being edited right now because, like I said, I finished it. So when she edits my chapters, I always have to go back and change stuff, and so she'll probably be done with the full book in August.
Oh, Lord, heaven.
Any what?
This is not in the porn category.
Actually, but
Shouldn't I read?
no, I don't. I probably will
yeah.
never write a list.
There you go.
I wouldn't really
No,
do
I said,
that.
what's that dude? What's that?
She got me hooked on Christina.
So yeah, there is that. But did anybody have any other thoughts? I'm hoping that everybody that gave you a little interest enough that you would want
It's gonna be an
to.
audiobook.
First, I have to publish it as paperback, and then I will try and look into audiobooks. But the cost of audiobooks, there's a cost, and I have to have money first.
Well, yeah, you gotta, the paperwork should pay for the audiobook. Okay, and then eventually, like a lot of people have found is that the audiobooks end up paying for the paperwork. Because the audiobook industry has gotten rich.
Oh yeah, you don't have to tell me. I know, and even even independent authors find ways to do it. But I probably won't put Strangers When We Die on audio anytime soon. But I will with Robin and Destiny. Thank you so much.
Well, yeah, you should though.
Thank you.
Okay, but yeah, I get you.
I love audiobooks. That's my favorite.
I know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you're probably gonna have to read it. I don't know exactly when the audio will come, but I do hope to have it. Did anybody have any other thoughts about the chapter?
It makes you want more.
Did it make you want to find out? Because
Well,
it's not just about them
obviously.
killing that
But I'm
motherfucker.
like,
Hey, you wanna see how we kill that motherfucker?
Again,
but they'll be impossible. It's like,
it becomes. I will be just. It becomes a lot more than any one thing, and that again.
that would turn it into more like Nalo.
That's, and you know what, and I decided when I promoted, it's gonna be, cause first I was gonna say, if you love the drama of Thelma and Louise and the comedy of Laverne and Shirley, that you would love this. But then I realized I need to get more with the black community, so wait a second, if you love the drama of Set It Off with women and the friendship and fun of Girls Trip, then you will enjoy it.
There you go.
So
Because I was thinking Laverne and Shirley.
There's some murder in it, right?
You went straight up old school, and then you talk about old school, you talk about old white school.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, see, that just shows you.
All right,
now
brother,
you can do a
You
practice
really should have monitored her TV
Of
watching when
reading
she
the
was
whole book
younger.
and then just sharing it, and that could be like a family audiobook kind of thing. I'm just saying.
I don't want to do my own audio because I'm not an actress.
Yeah, you need R.C. Bray.
You need to have an actress do it, so I can, be able to change your tone when you go to be talking as a man. But you already said you didn't like her.
But I got used to them, and she reads all of hers.
No, she doesn't, because Felicia Rashad read one.
Yeah, Felicia Rashad does
She did one, the
but
one
Terry
I
McMillan has done the last few.
And Tori Morris read hers, but she wasn't professional.
I like the way Toni Morrison read it because I felt like her inflection, she was telling us, she was doing it the way that she wanted it. You guys gotta head out.
Okay, look right there. But let's get one season. Get the big selection of roses. Yeah, she's gotta bring them out right now so I can get a picture of you guys. They're in the seat. No, so she's giving you flowers, so.
What?
She's getting flowers so I can get a picture of you guys.
Susan.
Get behind.
I know,
Get behind.
that was the first time hearing that. And you know I checked. I'm like,
Your commitment is
Yeah, pull the thing back. Pull this thing.
I have not
Take
had
that down.
before the 19th.
Yeah, the other one too.
Contact with someone.
And then, but you guys gotta stand behind the desk.
Oh, okay, we'll stand behind the desk.
Right next to you. And there you go, you check it. And then if the economy plus
I can use my camera.
Oh, okay, but I never get those pictures. I haven't figured out how to get them off yet.
Tina ain't give y'all the pictures?
They sent, but I haven't been able to.
Oh, get inside them?
I'm not good to getting them off yet.
Huh. Let me get my other camera.
Hold the book. Susan, you hold the book.
Sorry.
your wallet.
Okay.
You guys have a good one. All right, you too. Make that money. Go make that money. All right, babe, we gotta hit the road. Right I wish I could see you my drink vouchers, but you get free drinks there if they still exist. And economy something to get drinks. All righty, man. Well, that's really nice. Well, I'm just glad.
I've got to get my Oh, shit.
No, I put all of them in the pocket.
Yeah, so that's all the ones I had.
Mine is like this now.
No, because I have 10 minutes to
Like,
Like you, she had a real pretty face.
No, I had 15.
oh, she turned 14 yesterday.
Good to you always.
This is so nice. My baby girl.
Bye, sweetheart. Thank you for hosting. The traffic is weird.
We're probably not going back the other way though. Susan, you're in Pasadena, right?
Yes.
Let's go with
I've been drinking, so I'm gonna go to sleep.
That is nice. So what kind of you get? Yeah, my I saw a blue and red one coming out here. My best friend